too early again. What do we got here? We got the CIS teams. Let's focus in on this for a second because we're flying through this one. Obviously, if you missed it, there's a bit of a CIS revolution going on right now within the Counter-Strike world, ladies and gentlemen. 4 teams are in the top 6 of Katowice from the CIS, and you can see here, I don't know if Lucas does this up on screen, but Spirit got in first over Big. We had Gambit over Mousebot to the win, NIP over VP, Liquid got over OG, then OG over Cloud9 to qualify for the next stage, VP over Renegades. We had Mouse over Complexity and Big over MIBR. So I think we've covered off on the main ones. Fanatics one, maybe we'll touch on if we have some time later. But let's keep moving. So these CIS teams, boys, we always knew there was a lot of talent. And we even, I think, was it last week's show, Striker, maybe even the week before, we were saying they were coming. You know, we could definitely see this. It's just a matter of the hard work paying off because it's been some time, obviously, with these not franchised, but kind of franchised events like the blast groups and stuff like that, where it's the closed circuit of teams. Does it feel like this was destined to happen with these guys kind of building steam outside of that?
I didn't expect it to happen this fast, but kind of, yeah. Just because it just, there were hints. Obviously, we saw like how Gambit have been doing better. Like they had like a massive streak. Virtus.pro had like a massive streak at some point. Obviously, for them, it's been quite a while since we saw this coming.
Spirits has been a bit more immediate, hasn't it?
Exactly. Spirit, it was very sudden just after the Dexter edition, basically. And they just all boomed in Katowice all at the same time. And it's just pretty incredible how quickly they made it work with essentially you, at least in terms of Spirit with a new player. So it's just, yeah, that's impressive as hell to me.
But there's just so much skill, right, Alexi? Like we can go through these 3 names and I can just list off just a handful of players, right, from the 3 teams. Like
I was just watching as well.
It's bonkers, man. You just go for Gambit, you go Shiro, Axial, and then Hobbit's fucking getting it done. Then you look at Spirit, you're looking at Mia, Dexter, Magix is fucking popping off. You move over to VP, Jane, Buster, Kick It, Yakinda. You got Sanji down there doing. Sanji right now has to be in line for #1 support player, surely. With the amount of shit that guy is doing, still, he has to be one of the most selfless players at the moment. What's going on with all this skill, Alexi? This is crazy.
I don't know, man. The question is that can they pull all of this on LAN? Because when we weren't on the online period, which teams in obviously Navi, but which other teams were there? VP, I guess, in a way, or were they? They had this really hard like down period, right? Yeah. So it's like all of these teams have came up now. So all of these teams also are waiting to prove it on LAN, right? Whereas there's a lot of teams that already kind of proved themselves on LAN, or a lot of players. So Vitality and Navi and all Simple, Cybus, everyone like knows how they are on LAN, right? But I'm eager to see this Shiro guy, for example, this Dexter guy, Mir. We already know Mir, but the dude has taken such levels up from the previous Mir we saw like a lot of maybe 2 years ago or something. The dude is insane right now. But I know they all grind a lot because whenever I open FPL stream, I can see most of these names playing, but they're insane, and I don't know what. Like someone tweeted, I think it was Clave tweeted that can they chill a bit or something.
What do you think it is about the playstyle though? Because do you see similarities with these teams in the way they approach the game?
Yes, I see it. Maybe Navi is the backbone of how this game started, so really slow, you know.
Yeah.
But bro, they are the sickest team in my opinion. About okay, so hear me out. Usually when you join a pug, your teammates always flame about Russians rushing on you, okay? But these guys play the slowest CS, and whatever you try to do, they're holding still. They're still holding you. Like, we all know how Navi plays, but if you take a look at how Gambit plays, for example, like I remember some practices on Dust 2 where it's 30 seconds on the clock. I'm just making this up, but almost 30 seconds. And I'm on CT side. And then I'm starting to push mid doors for info. And Shiro kills me from T-base. It's not... Obviously, I just made it up. But all I'm saying is they're playing really calm and collected. And smart CS.
Okay. Do you think that's the key, Striker, to what we're seeing out of this?
Hear me out. I just want to say one more thing. Also, the same similar thing. I guess Simple doesn't do it as much, and I'm speaking of saving. But Jamie and Shiro, they have almost the same style. Bro, both of the survival rate these dudes have, every practice we play, or every official match I watch, is 15 rounds with an AWP. Like, they spawn in pistol round with an AWP. They just have one AWP every round. Whenever I'm on base and there's been some sloppy rounds, I'm like, do you think they have an AWP? I already know the answer. Of course they have an AWP. Like, they have an AWP. So it's insane.
Shit. Yeah, I guess that's the big help of Sanji over there for VP. Now, Striker, we're looking at this, right? We're talking about all these names. We're talking about their style. That's great to hear Alexi's take on that right there. But how can they all be doing it at the same time? Like, it doesn't really make sense. This has to, the only way this is possible is with the online era. They wouldn't have had these opportunities otherwise, right?
I mean, they also only just started like very recently. Like for Virtus Pro, it took quite a long time. It was basically kind of like a delayed onset of the Kinder edition, basically.
Yeah,
that I feel like made the difference
because Buster went for a break when Kinder joined, right?
But so it was very. I know. I think it was very close that they joined, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like they just needed a bit of time to get used to this edition, and then just blew up. But it's just the other two teams, right? Gambit, I think, have been on the rise for a really long time. Like, they've been steadily climbing from like this, top 50 team that you just sometimes hear about in like some of these lower tier tournaments, that they actually have like, who's this Shiro guy? He's actually looking pretty good. And then like 5 months later, they're like in the top 30, starting to show up against some of these more known names. And now they're here, right? They're like in the precipice of top 15 or whatever. They're actually in the playoffs with Katowice, right? It's obviously kind of like blew up very recently, but with Gambit, at least I saw it coming. Just because I saw the progression, right? It's just the Spirit one that is definitely a big surprise. Just because it literally just took one change and it just immediately blew up.
We didn't even talk about the 16-1 over Astralis, did we? That was mental. The fact that Dexter in that round gets so close to winning that clutch against Vegas as well, I was like, oh man, that would have been absolutely mental.
That's crazy, man. It wasn't even like there's 16-1s and there's 16-1s, right? There are some matches where it's like 16-5, but it was actually a lot of close rounds and stuff like that. It's just like a lot of clutch scenarios. This was not the case. Like, Astralis got destroyed the first like 10 rounds or something, and then they had maybe like 2 relatively close ones, and that's it. Like, they had a chance in like 2 out of the 17, maybe 3 with the pistol round out of the 17 rounds that they played. It was insane.
I wonder if they were nervous, the Astralis players, because they've never lost 16-0.
Yeah,
if I remember the tweet correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
They never did.
16-1 to North at that DreamHack event was their worst loss, right? That was Duster as well, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we can pivot. We can pivot here. The one thing that really stands out to me, I just want to hash on this before we move forward and talking about Liquid and Fallen. But Shiro's clutching. Like, I'm trying to think. What's he got? 14 in the last week. If you combine the last 2.
I just watched the compilation video about the clutches as well.
What do you make of it?
They're not easy clutches.
Okay.
He won some 1-on-2 USB clutches where he just one taps. It looks smooth as fuck.
Yeah.
But obviously there might be some rounds where it's like many players would win in the scenario. So let's say where the last player is, but he doesn't know where you're coming from. So you obviously have the advantage. But there are the clutch against Cadian, where Cadian kills a guy small pit, tries to get cover from bike and jumps for info, and Shiro just flicks his head off. So he's pulling off insane clutches as well. So it's not like, it's kind of Saiwu stylish, where I feel like Saiwu has an insane amount like ratio on clutches, right? And he can win them with the USB, with sometimes with a rifle, sometimes with an AWP, and it's like left and right clutching. But for Shiro, as I said, I'm just eager to see that is he gonna consistently pull these things off, because he's looking so solid that you have to consider him soon to some really sick teams,
All right,
thinking that Gambit doesn't fall apart or anything, because they can reach heights of their own.
Well, Axial was another one that I know a couple of years ago when he went up to the Gambit main squad for an event that they had in Malta as well. And I think it was it Peter who tweeted something? Striker, maybe you remember. I think it was like 2019. It was like Shiro's 1-on-4 against Tricked with like Bow up and Hunden and stuff, I think
I don't
it was.
remember.
But that's the first time I remember really like hearing about Shiro. And then we did him at that CIS minor for Berlin. And I got to watch a little bit more of him there. And like, yeah, it has just been a steady growth, right? He's been off the radar, competing in the realms of the tier 3s, tier 2s, and now they've just feels like they made that massive jump up.
There was like when Zeus retired, I think there was like a discussion about whether Shiro could go to Navi as well at the time. So that was like the earliest where there could have been a move for him even, and that's like a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Wow. All right. Well, maybe it's better this way. You know, we've seen the players get plucked and then they, don't do so great. Then they fall off to obscurity. This is a nice, gentle climb for Shiro. Now,